Thank you very much. And give me just a second. So you should hear me and you should see something. Is that right?
We can hear you and we see your screen.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, thank you very much for this slot. We have almost 25 minutes, something like this, and I will covering the topic about Service Assist. And following up with this, I think the last question was about Attend solution, and this is where we're focusing on. That's right, and Michael answered this very well. So we are entering this Attend space also. So in our focus, we're coming on the left side from this, we call it Unattended Automation. And we are very successful with this, and we have so many great use cases. But of course, it's very necessary to have spend enough time in this focus, for example, for the exception handling and all the necessary parts on this. For example, if there's a message comes up from the application and this will not covered, then the process could be stopped and so on. So this is very important. And in this case, we will expand this, of course, further and further. But we have learned and heard about to our customers that to invest also in the Attend space, that we can interact with the digital worker and the human, and this is something we call human in the loop. That the process or a task of a process will acting by the digital worker. And if there are something unclear or there must be a decision making, something like this, then the human will ask, and after this, the digital worker can go forward with this. So what's very interesting on this, you can see this in the lower area. We can see a lot of work can handled by the unattended model, and much more work can handled by the attended model. And this is quite
Martin, may I disrupt you for a while? I think we have a technical issue. We cannot see your presentation. We cannot see your desktop.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you very much for this hint. Give me just a second.
Thank you.
So you can see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so starting only to covering the entry point, the question about the Attend space. Yes, we have the Attend space, and we entering this. So we're coming on the left side from this unattended space, and this is something we will go forward, of course. Regarding we think almost this is a part for this have a huge impact to automate at least 50% of the work that we can handle with, and at least. But we have seen, as I mentioned, so many questions, so many use cases where something we call it human in the loop. So loop that the digital worker will start a process or doing a process and need some guidance or need some decision making and so on. And this is what we in most cases can do with a great process design, but we can also deliver this back to the human, and the human can make the decision, and then the process can go forward with this. So this means we are entering the space, and we are expanding both spaces. And for us, this is very important that we, in the classical way, we support, I would say, the classical work style of the human. And in this case, For example, we have a lot of use cases where a front officer will work with email systems, for example, and send emails, receive emails, and have some task within this. And this, of course, is great to have our digital worker to assist them and to take a part of this. But the world is changing, and more and more, in most cases, younger customers using more other technologies. For example, that we can use special apps, chatbots, and so on. And there, of course, we can interact also. And this is something that we expand in both directions. And now we are focusing on one of these solutions, and one of this is Service Assist. I will later on covering a little bit the difference on this, but it's more important. We are focusing on Service Assist especially on one great use case, but this use case has a huge impact on the customers. And this is something we have started, and Michael mentioned this several times. We have a great partnership with Trust Portal, and we're working since years great together. And there are several great projects in the past. We are working closely, and there was one big project, and this is Telefónica in Spain, which was so successful for every part that we make the decision to deliver Service Assist. So this is one component Blue Prism, one component Trust Portal, but everything from one hand. From one hand means Blue Prism. So you buy this through Blue Prism, you have one license, you have one support, and so on. So this is a little bit the differentiator between take Blue Prism and Trust Portal separately, or take Service Assist, and then you have one solution from one vendor. And the focus on this topic, as I mentioned, is the call center. In this case, the agents on the call center and how they work and how they relate on this. We have one great project, and we will covering this in 2-3 slides here. They have 2,000 agents. They have more than 2,000 agents, but they started with 2,000 agents, and they worked with 12 IT systems in the backend. So the customer have acquired over the last year several other vendors and other companies. So they have very different and sometimes very old and legacy systems. And it takes a long of time to log on, and they must several times relog on a day to the system. So this is not the nicest, shyest, and best technologies, but this is what it is. These are the old or the legacy systems on this. And the focus for them was every minute they should be used by a call center agent to talk to their customer. So this is the reason they're in the company, and this is where they should be. But the reality was fully different from this. There was a huge gap, and they spent a lot of time to prepared before the customer is calling, or they're during the call, they must waiting a lot of time for the systems, and they had a lot of after call work to handle different topics on this. And with this focus, the teams looked at this and realized they wasted several days a year with not spending the time on the customer via phone, but wasting the time for several topics. And then there was an easy calculation. They use the basis of this 2,000 agents and come to a very high number, up to $6 million per year wasted only to waiting and relog in and so on. So this was a quite interesting case, but then there are several more topics on this, and this is something I don't know if you have an own call center, or if you're working with call center. In most cases, the people are mostly younger people, and they have the capabilities to talk very good to people, very empathy, and so on. But in most cases, they are not well trained and don't have experience with the old applications. So the younger people live with these new applications, and, for example, live with browser applications, and they don't have a clue, for example, with working on mainframes. But in several cases, our customers have mainframes also in the systems, and so this means the people must be trained for all the applications, and all the legacy applications are not very intuitive and have not the easiest way to find the information or to change the topic what the customer wants. So the people at the call center agent are really unhappy about this several times, and this was, as we heard several times, the reason that they will change the company also. So this is something with a high fraction of these people, and in this case, this will deliver something and focus on how long take an agent to handle the call. And this means they pick up the phone, get a call or give a call to the customer, get the information about the customer. So this is called average handling time, AHT. And then in most cases they have an after call work. So this means, for example, the customer wants to change his address or his telephone number, it doesn't matter. And the call center agent write everything down. And after the call center agent will change, for example, different systems for the address change. And everything together is this average handling time in CV, the after call work. And in this case, they reduce the time from 320 seconds to 220 seconds. So this is a number for a special focus. But this means in this case, they can reduce of agents from almost 2,000 to almost 1,400. And now it's not the focus to reduce the number of the people, but it's more to acting more in a better way. And this is where the customer is looking for this, and they can save millions to find a better way for this. And in this case, and now this is a Telefonica use case, they, for example, reduce the average handling time from 9 minutes to 2 minutes. So this is a huge impact that they get. And they have a cost reduction plan for several years. And this was so successful that they reduce 25% of their costs in the first year. So this was a very great and successful project. And this was, I would say, the game changer, or to make the decision, we will deliver an overall solution with Service Assist and to bring this together. At the end of the day, they're working 6,000 agents with, they have 6,000 desktop agents to work with this, and they are very happy with all the technologies that they can use now. So what's important on this? So they have very old legacy systems, as I mentioned, and the legacy system in most cases don't have any APIs. So there's no programming interface that the backends can work together. And so this means everything must be handled by the user. And this is what's very important and takes a lot of time on this. They tried a little bit, or tried several topics. They have a huge agenda for their full over digital transformation projects and so on. So they are changing everything, but all the big goals are far, far away. And this is something they get the benefits in a very short time frame. And now they can go forward and migrate the systems in the backend over the next month or years. So there's no need, there's not the pressure as in the past to handling this. And now they're very more flexible and more agile to handle this, and have now, as I mentioned, this two-phase transformation. So now they can go forward, have the benefits in this, and over the next phases and months and years, they can migrate the back-end topics in here. So what's important on this is the world has changed, of course. So the customers, or most of the customers, have old and legacy systems. They are not connected. They have different user interfaces. It takes a lot of time possible to get the information about this. And then on the other hand, we have the customers. This could be the private customer, could be a business customer, but they live in the modern world. They're using their smartphone and want to access everything in a very short time. They can spend several minutes in a caller line, but if they have a call center agent, then they will acting in a fast way and not waiting and waiting and waiting. So this is fully different, I would say, against 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So this is very important. There's a lot of changes here. And this is, of course, the part where the solution comes in and brings a very great and very new topic on this. So what, in this case, Trust Portal did, and this is what the Service Assist or all solution deliver, is they created, I would say, a web front end for, I don't want to say every type of application, but for every type of content. So this means, so we have different areas. So we have, in this case, a summary area, something like, these are the main processes or tasks that these people, so it's a role-based system. If I connected, I have different tasks and roles, and this is what I mostly use. And then I have other topics where I have a lot of more. And in this case, of course, you know, we're coming from the banking area, from our history almost 20 years ago. And this is mostly the reason you see a lot of screenshots with financial topics. In this case, this is a loan request for a company. And for example, if the company, in this case, a bank, will have special calculating the rates about different capabilities. In this case, the customer is in a production and using, for example, no metal, no wood, but plastics. And the company have a huge business intelligence, it could be have a huge business intelligence to calculate the rates, for example. And the call center agent can, during in lifetime, in real time, can change all the topics, and the system in the backend will generate and calculate, in this case, for example, the rates for this. So this is a very dynamically generated content, this middle area. Then on the left side, we have all the action pane where several tasks pop up and so on. So we'll look at this in a few seconds in a short demo. So it's very important, and this is one. It's very important. This is one of the differentiator against Interact, for example. So we have a huge integration in the APIs to interact with the existing call center technologies. So this is called IVR. So this is independent voice recognition systems. If the customer calls and said, I want to, I don't know, generate a balance sheet or whatever. So everything that the customer will generate and get. And so these are components and also the call center technologies where this delivers to the call center agent and work with this. And our overall solution, our Service Assist, can interact with this, can, for example, get the information from these systems and deliver this to the right people and get the information. So in the very high level, we have our normal digital worker, our robot, as you know it and as you have seen it. And there's one component, Service Assist agent, on this machine also. So this should be virtual machines. Then we have our classic Blue Prism application server, and we have it, I would call it a black box. Of course, this is a component of different, or this is a solution of different components. It depends on the sizing and everything, we call Service Assist server with all the necessary needs that we have to deliver this. So before we go to the demo, this is a very easy place. So we have this front end. This could be, so this is a website. We can use this with very easy devices. In this case, you see a screenshot of an iPad, so we can work with other technologies also, other backends also. And then we have our Service Assist component, and we have the digital worker. And then we have in the backend our different applications or systems. And this is what I want to show. So in this case, we don't use 3 different other type of backends. I use 3 different type of Excel sheets. So it's only that you can see we use different content and will deliver this. So for this, let me switch to our system. So I have something prepared here. On the left side hand, you see a website that we provide for this. And on the right-hand side, you see a prepared process of this technology. And now this is only, as always in our technology, in normal cases, you don't see anything, you only see the results, but that you can see something, that's the reason that we can something start. So in first case, what I want to show you is something that we can looking in different applications. For the demo, we look in different Excel spreadsheets. Now you will see 3 different Excel spreadsheets will start up. We're collecting all the topics and then propagate this as a final result. And for this, we have different, as I mentioned, this could be different type of applications. It could be legacy systems, that could be new technologies, and so on. So what I get here is I have 3 different sources. And for example, I have different focuses in this. And one common use case, for example, is to change the address or the phone number, something this is related to every contract, to every system, but related to this one user or this final customer. And in this case, we type in the new number, doesn't matter. And now if I said send update, we will provide this update to every system, in this case to every Excel spreadsheet, but this could be, as I mentioned, every backend system that we're working with. So in normal cases, the agent must do this 3 times, and this is what we change or should cut down here to bring this back. So give me another example. Just have a look to the time. Yes, a little topic here. I want to show you a little bit in a very short time. So we are able to integrate, of course, business logic. So in this case, we can, the company have special limits and special risk scores, depends on a lot of capabilities. And in this case, we could define business logic where we can said up to a special risk score, we can have an automatic approval up to a special amount. So it depends on a lot of topics. So we can go for an automatic approval. Then we can have an agent approval. For example, the automatic approval should be, in this case, give, I don't know, save £7,500. The agent can go up to £8,000. And the last one is a referral approval. This means, for example, the manager of the agent can give a higher approval. So this is what I want to show. But regarding the time, only reduced only for the last point, that the approval with something will approve. So give me just a second. In this case, we type a very high number. So the automatic system will not approve this automatically. The agent is not allowed to do this. And in this case, we will generate this and provide this to an approver. So this is a use case that they have several times, and this is something we see in so many other use cases also. So now I switched to the different user. As I mentioned, we have, of course, role-based systems, and I want to use now the approver. And the approver now gets this request. Here's our request. And this is a very high number. And then I said, okay, we approve this. And now I can generate, of course, content on this also. We make some comments and whatever. And this is very important, of course, that they can interact with this. Here is all the capabilities. And after this is sent, this task for this user is finished. So this was approver. Now going back to the system, and here you see there is a message, and there's, for example, no pop-up regarding this could be the call center agent could be in another call. So it's focusing very much on the call center use case. And then you have this topic. So this is only very a high level and very short perspective on this. But what's very important, and this is something where Service Assist is so unique, we have seen this serial working on, in this case, 3 different applications or backends, in this case, 3 different access pages. But for the call center, it's very important to have this high performance. So the people, every second counts. And this means we are able to have a parallel mode also. So this could be possible that we have our what we call master digital worker, and this master digital worker can work with unlimited number of different other workers with different applications, for example. So this means, for example, they have 25 backend systems, and for every backend system, we have 1 digital worker, and everything started at the same time, and the call center agent gets after the feedback. So they can start with this, what was answering. For example, bank is answering and credit answering, but insurance takes, I don't know, 30 seconds, and they can start with this. So this is very important. These are the main topics where it's very important in this special focus for the call center space regarding the time on this topic. So what's very important, we have this focus on front office, as I mentioned. We can integrate in existing website. So it's also possible if the call center agent using, for example, an intranet site, something like this, we can integrate here and work into this frame or whatever. And with these technologies, we are always able to have the APIs for other portals, mobile apps, and for example, for chatbots that they can work with internal legacy applications, what's in normal cases not possible, as we heard. And of course, with this, we can work with the back office also. So this is for the exception handling, something, so there's a lot of demand for exception handling in the back office, but in most cases, this is not so time critical as in the front office. So we related all the difference on this. So, and of course, if the system is integrated, we can work in the back office also. So this is, there's no issue with this. So at the end of the day, and this is very important, Service Assist enables the contact center workers, so the agents in their customer-facing roles, and of course, the self-service for the customer by the end, into an optimized system. So this is very time-effective and optimized system that the user will get the highest, or the agent will get the highest performance on this. Of course, it's a highly secure, dynamic environment. We can work with a classic web browser, so it's very important. And in this lockdown phase, what we see now, they can work from home with their device only for acting this, without have VPN access, for example, or the necessary on VPN and so on for the backend systems. In this case, they can up to 75% automation of the customer handling processes, and a full value into end-to-end process automation, and not just for the task automation. And this is, of course, very important. As we started, we're coming from this task automation, and now we are able to have this end-to-end digitalization of this service also. So this is a very, very short overview about Service Assist. I have done several presentations now, involved in several appointments in this, and there's a huge demand to optimize the call center focus, or the front office in this. And in this case, it's very, very important, and a new technology. So yeah, stay tuned. There will coming more and more, of course. And regarding the time, we will shut down now. But of course,